Morning, everyone. We are here to work on our next and last Fusion assignment for this first year woods joinery project that we're doing. So where you left off was you guys have just finished this first year joinery project final drawing. And so today what we're going to do is kind of show you how to just throw some dimensions on it and make a plan out of it if you were using your drawing as a plan that you might if you drew something else, okay? So this is where we left off. What we're going to do is we're going to open up Fusion, and I'm going to kind of pause my video a little bit so that you guys don't have to wait through all this loading stuff. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, so after I clicked on Fusion, it opened up here, and so what we're going to do is open up our final drawing that we did with the edits and everything. So I'm going to double click over there. Yours might be saved in a different location. All that's just fine. And so what we have here is this final project, and this is what you should have. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a drawing off of this. So you can go ahead and shrink down the waffle just so you have it full screen here. So I got rid of my data panel, I guess is to use the proper terminology. We're going to click on Design, hover over Drawing, and we want to create a drawing from Design. So we click that. Then we get some options over here. We do want full assembly, yes. We want to create new, we want to create from scratch. If you click on here, you have two choices, ISO or ASME. We want ASME. That's the standard setup. Leaves us in inches, which is where we want to be. And for sheet size, we want to change this. We don't want to be in B. We want to be in, let's go A, 11 by 8.5. No, let's go top one, 8.5 by 11. We can always change it. We'll go 8.5 by 11. Hit OK. And it's going to open up a new tab up here, and it's going to look quite different. It kind of takes a while to load because it's really kind of opening up almost a separate program here. And you can see now that it looks like a piece of paper. And I've got this project, tutorials, title, first year projects on this. They call this down here the title block where all this information is. And what we have here is our drawing now. And it's in a 1:5 scale. And I think we'll leave it right there for now. And what I'm going to do is I want to kind of place this out here, but I want to do something else first. So right now it's giving me a front view, and we want to make this a home view. Let's see. That's not my favorite view. Let's go down here and try. So I just clicked to place it in this northeast here, it's isometric. I just clicked left click to place it there. We're going to leave everything else alone, and we're going to hit OK. And you're going to see it turns black and white. Now this isn't the best view I want, so what I'm going to do is kind of change this. So now I'm going to go back in and double click it, and this comes back up. And I think I like that one better. I wanted to be able to see this back joint back here, and the dado and all this kind of stuff over here. So let's stick with that one, the northwest isometric. And now let's close that back down. And so in this drawing, what we've now done is you guys' final drawing that you did, we're kind of starting to add like a black and white of it that goes into a plan, kind of a schematic of it. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Create, and we're going to create a new base view. And it's going to want this whole project in there again, and we can do that. That's fine. All right, and we can leave it at 1:5. That's okay. We'll leave it in the front view, so we'll just hit OK. Didn't change anything over there. And now what we have, so first year project up here is this one right here, right? I can click on it, and it highlights and tells me what it is. Click on this one, it tells me it's in this one. And what we're going to start to do is isolate some of these parts, okay? And so what we want to do is let's get rid of, we'll just leave A. And so we're going to uncheck, and you can see it disappears from my drawing. Everything but part A. And we'll kind of slide that up to the top up here. And now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to have all the parts. And so we're just going to, I'll go through this a little bit faster now. Hit OK, so I didn't make any changes. Go back in here, and now we're going to get rid of A, leave B. Create a new base view. And I'm not worried about where they're going for now. I'm just kind of throwing them in here. Hit OK, don't change anything. Come over here. So I'm just throwing these parts in there. We can always come back and move them around. I feel like something didn't go there. There we go. So that's part C. We got 2 more to do. Okay. And if you want, like if this starts to get too cluttered for you, we can hit these arrows and it shrinks them down, minimizes them. So now we're just with our new one. And we want to get rid of A, B, and C. And just leave D behind. And I can minimize that one, and I have 1 left to do. Base view. Don't make any changes. Place it somewhere. Hit OK. And we're going to get rid of everything but E. And then we're going to minimize it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start organizing these a little bit better to kind of make our drawing a little bit nicer. So I'm going to move some of these parts up out of the way. Oops, don't want to move that one. Move this one. Okay, and so now we probably want to rotate this a little bit to give us a nicer view on this one. And so this is part B. This view does give us a nice view of our angle, of the dado, all that kind of stuff. But what we're going to now is hit rotate, which is this button right up here. And it says to select what we want to transform. And then it asks us basically what point we want it to rotate around. And so I chose something in the middle right there just because then it stays put a little bit better. And I'm rotating it 270 degrees, just like that. And we can actually leave this rotate tool up here. I'm going to deselect this one. Now I'm going to go to this one. And then click on transform just like we did before. And now this one's going to be a little bit, I don't know if trickier is the right word. I'm going to rotate it up this way. And so this goes to 90 degrees. And I think we can leave that one alone. And we'll start to kind of move these up a little bit so that we can get them all in here. That's part C. And part E, excuse me, I'm trying to think which one it is, was in the middle here. We're going to change the view of it. So I double click on that with my left button. And instead of being in this front view, I think we want to try a top view. Yeah, that gives us better detail. And we can hit close. And what we're realizing is that maybe part D doesn't give us every view too. So we're going to make a copy of this as well. Or maybe just bring in another one, I guess, is how we want to do it. Well, let's come back to this. Let's not copy this right now. Move that over. What we want to start doing is start adding some dimensions, and we'll figure out how all this is going to lay out. So I've got my part A right at the top, and what we're going to do is go up to this dimension tool. If you were to click on it, you have all these different options. We're just going to go with the very top dimension. And I can cover over just one line. I can go from point to point. So we'll do that one first. I'll click on this point to this point, and then it says, okay, where do you want to place this dimension? I'm going to keep it pretty close to it. And then I'm going to say I want to go from here to here. That's good. And so now this part A, right, we don't have to worry about the width. We already know what the width is on all of our parts, and we could always reference our cut list. But what we want to do then is also talk about this right here. So what I'm going to do is click on this line, not the dot or the point, that whole line, and then click on this line, and you can see what comes about then is an angle, right? And then that's good for that part. So we can then hit escape on our keyboard to get out of the dimension tool, and I can slide this up and place it, making the best use of my paper. And so now I've got part A done, and it's all the way up there, out of the way. Okay, and now we're going to start dimensioning part B. So here's our dimension tool, and this time instead of going point to point for this line, let's just do this whole line, click it once, drag it down. Both ways are correct. Now I'm zooming in there. Got that. I think we want, take that one up a little bit higher. Let's do this first. Got my dimension tool. Let's do this line first and get that placed. And then let's figure out where to put this one so it's kind of out of the way here. So it's just a little bit above that. And that's pretty much everything else we need. We could figure out this measurement if we needed to, but we don't need to. This gets us to where we need to be on our dado and all that stuff. So we're going to click on this line, click on this line, and get our 45 set up there. And the only other piece of information we might want here, actually I'm going to hit escape again, and I'm going to redo this one. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to click on dimension again. I think I'd rather go point to point up here. And now I kind of want to move this one. So I hit escape. So I got my arrow tool. And now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to drag it down. I clicked on it once and I'm holding on it a second time to bring it down. Click on this and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. And now the only other piece of information I might like is also this to this. And if I hit escape, I've got my dimensions in there. And this isn't quite right. So I'm double clicking on that with the left mouse button, and this dialog window pops up. And what we want to change is our linear precision right here. Right now that number only goes to 2 decimals. We want to make that 3 decimals. And then we can hit close on just that dimension because it was rounding up and we don't want to do that. Now we know 0.625 is 5/8. Okay? And now part B is done. And we can move that up. We don't want to get too close where it gets confusing with the one above it, but maybe just a little bit higher. I think we can live with that right there. And now this brings us back to this part. Well, let's do this. I'll keep going around. And so we'll do part C first. It's a nice easy one to dimension, not much to it. So we'll get that up here for now. Let's get our dimension tool. And let's throw some dimensions on it. And hit escape on our keyboard so we're just back to a regular select tool. And we're going to drag this up nice and close up here. And now that's our part C. And now we can kind of start taking part D up there close, kind of lining it up because we know. But we know that with our part D, we're missing this cutout right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create kind of a second view of this part. Right? And so we're going to go in here to create. And then we are going to hit a projected view. So instead of a base view, we're going to hit a projected view. And we want to project from this. So I just click on it with my left mouse button, and you can see that it creates a projection of that part, a different view. So right now, this original view was the right side, and just by hitting on it with the projected view, it's kind of creating a top or a bottom view depending on which way I drag it. And so we're just going to kind of move this down. You can always adjust it later, and it can even give me a second view if I wanted a right view, left view, top view, some cool stuff, some isometric views, just by which direction I move my mouse. We only need this other top view. And so then I just go over here and I hit the check mark, and it leaves me with just these 2 views, which is perfect for us. Okay? And so now what we can do is throw some dimensions in here. And we can bring this 14.5 down kind of so it's in the middle. You can see that it then references both things. And then we can put this one up here on top. I'm using point to point this time, and then I can kind of reference it and spin it how I want, and I want it to be nice and vertical like that, so it says 1.25, and that's referencing that. And then I can go from here to here and take it straight out this way and make that 0.25. And then over here, of course, we have to have our total thickness. And so this view is now done. Now we just have to add some details in here to this view. And so let's do here to here. Here to here. And then, of course, we can add this one as well. And then we just have one left to do, and that's the depth of this. And we can put that right there. All right, now hit escape on your keyboard, and I'm going to drag a window over both of my views so I can have them all together. And I'm going to kind of drag them down a little bit, maybe something like that. And we could go back in. I didn't think about adding a width. We can add a width if we want, even though we know all our parts are the same. Okay, and now we're just left with part E. So I'm going to drag that up. I hit escape on my keyboard, moved it up. Now I'm going back to my dimension tool. And we got a little problem there, so I'm going to hit escape. That's rounding off that. And so we're going to change that to 3 dimensions. 3 decimal places, excuse me, not 3 dimensions. Back to our dimension tool. We don't need that. If we know this is 1.5 and I give you the total width here, then we know that what's left is also 1.5. Don't have to be overly descriptive with our dimensions. Alright, and there's another one, so I'm going to hit escape. It rounds off. Change our decimal place. And there we go. Part E is done. So now what you've created in this document is you've got an isometric drawing, and then you've got exploded views of all of your parts. And so what we're going to do now is go up here to Save. And it asks me what I want to save it as, Grady Drawing, and that is just perfect in that same folder. That's exactly what we want. And now this is something that I could easily print off and take into the shop and use for my project. All right, thanks guys. Oh, sorry, we forgot to talk about how to turn this in. So we're going to go up here to Export, and you can then export a PDF. All sheets is fine. Let's open the PDF when we're done. So we'll hit OK. And it says, where do we want to save this? And what I want to do is, so your title's the same. The type is a PDF. That should be automatic. And this is if we want to save it just to Fusion 360. But what we want to do is save it to our computer. And so go ahead and check this box. And then over here is where you can tell it where you want it to save. You could probably just put it in your downloads. That'd be fine. So I'm going to do the same thing. Downloads. Save that, and now we're going to go ahead and save it. And it's going to go ahead and export that automatically for us. And then it also, because I checked that box to open PDF, it opened it up in Adobe here so that I can see what my drawing would be. And now I can print this. Okay, and then this document that you saved and exported, this is what you're going to turn in for this assignment. Okay, so you're going to create a PDF, export it, save it, and then attach that for the assignment. Okay, now we're good. Thank you.